Coming off a strong offseason that saw us bring in a lot of talent via free agency, and then when it came to the draft, rattling off 5 hidden dev players throughout is really doing a fantastic job of building a strong base for this team, building for the future. And as we kick off today's episode, and it will be week 1 against a really tough division rival, the San Francisco 49ers, and then we have the Seahawks the next game. But before we could get into any action, we have to finish off some preseason things, mostly getting the roster down to size. And normally I will do this myself, not include it in the episode, but I feel like there is a lot of change that's going to happen to some guys who have been around on this team for the last couple of years, so I wanted you guys to be a part of it. As for the quarterback group, we are sticking with Bo Harold to start off with. If he does not perform, we're going to be extremely strict this year. He doesn't do well, we have Kirk Cousins. He has the mentor/bridge quarterback tags, so he could definitely step in. We did end up drafting Greg Hannon in, I want to say, mid-ish, maybe early on in the 6th round. We knew was going to be a practice squad guy for us, so that is where he's headed. As for the running back group, we did bring in Antonio Gibson and Zonovan Knight. I 100% thought that Zach Evans and Kyron Williams were already let go, so we're going to essentially do that here. Evans just really hasn't performed all too well while he's been out there, so we are going to move on from him. We're going to take a slight penalty there. And Kyron Williams is 25 years old, sub 70. We will be moving on from there as well. Now, we did draft Bryce Williams, and we're gonna let him rock on the roster for now, though he could go to the practice squad. He's just a high enough overall that he could get picked up, so we'll stash him here for now. If we have to cut him, we will. Now, we have 10 different receivers on roster, and we definitely don't need that. Anyone who's over 25 years old and is not above a 70 overall, they're gone. So we're going to be out with McCutcheon. Weddington, who was strictly just a returner for us, he is also gone. Definitely sticking around with Dante Ayers. I like him. I like Nakua. Corey Davis has a mentor tag now, and he's not going to be in that starting rotation, but is good for some development. We already saw a little bit of that in the preseason. Now, we did bring in Chase Claypool, and he did not perform well at all. Now, he is a 78 overall, so I am curious to see if any team would want to trade for him. So if we check the market, we are getting some options here. There is a young linebacker here in Leo Chenal. Maybe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we could definitely use some good depth. So that is an interesting option. Another young receiver we don't need. An outside linebacker we don't need. A running back don't need. Safety. Strong safety is interesting because we don't have a future plan there. But he's 24 years old at a 72. Not loving that. And then a defensive lineman in Fatukasi. Definitely don't need that, but I do like the trade here for the linebacker, sending Chase Claypool to the Chiefs. Chiefs typically don't have a great receiving core, so I feel like that could actually be pretty good. And we kind of deal with one of the needs that we have in needing some backers to back up, because we'll talk about that shortly. But we are going to make this trade here, bringing in a new sub linebacker. Now, the other man here is Quez Watkins. He didn't play all too well last season. He's a slot guy, and we are leaving that spot for Nakua. So once again, just want to see if there's anyone interested in Quez Watkins here. And there is some interest. There is a safety here in Kenya Smith. 23 years old at 70 is a little bit better. And those are the only 2 options. We don't need Zach Ertz. So sure, let's go player for player here. No idea how good Kenya Smith is, but we need a young guy to develop at strong safety, so we'll bring him in. Now, he does have really good size, 6'2", 206, 23 years old, has the hit power, needs to develop a little bit, but he could sit behind Curse for a year and potentially be in line to maybe take over as we take a look at the strong safety spot. The only other option we have is Russ Yeast. We talked about sub 70 over 25 being cut. That's what's going to happen exactly right here. So that trade, very much worth it for us. That did also get our receiving group to the size we need 6. We're going to have Joshua Palmer, the rookie Ed Jarrett, Terrence Marshall, Corey Davis, Puka Nakua, and Dante Ayers, another rookie. As for tight end, we have 3 different guys here, and we are going to finally move on from Davis Allen. He has never really been able to make a stake at any sort of playtime, so he is gone, leaving us with Charles Parkinson and Tommy Tremble. As for the offensive line, I typically like to keep 8, but we could even go down to 7 if need be. So we have 3 here, and we have a very tight race at left guard. We're going to start with McAllister, but if he does not perform, we have Williams. Again, strict this year. If you're not doing well, you're getting subbed out. At center, we have another 2 options, so that gives us a total of 5. And then at right guard, we do have Avila and Bruce. Bruce has been a backup for us for a little while, and we will keep him because we are getting rid of Isaiah Wynn with how awful he was. We brought in Tyron Smith, so let's see if anyone has any interest in trading for Isaiah Wynn. I believe we traded for him early on as well. There's a young receiver who looks pretty good, Tyler Scott, but we don't need any more help there. Another young receiver, a right guard, don't need. Right guard, don't need. Another receiver, and a running back that we do not need. So let's come up with our own trade. Now, here's a team that could use a right tackle. The Ravens have Jack Driscoll as 69, plus he's 28, and they could actually take the cap. Now, considering how bad of a season Wynn is coming off of, I'm not going to ask for a lot here. Give us like a 4th round pick. I feel like that should be solid, and they'll take it. So Wynn is gone. And that does leave us with 8 offensive linemen. If we need to go down one more, Logan Bruce can be cut. He's not really in a starting rotation spot right now, so that's a possibility. As for the defensive line, we have switched to a 4-3, primarily due to how many good linebackers we have now. Why we also traded for a backup because we only had the 3 and we needed them out there. So the defensive line is looking a little different now. So at left end, we have our old outside linebackers. So Nick Bonito, Nick Hampton, and Steven Stewart, the rookie, are going to be the primary guys there at left end. At right end, we're going to have some of our normal edge guys, that at least from the last couple seasons. So Carl Lawson sticking around for more of a mentor role. Johnny Smith, the rookie, in Dwayne Woodyard. And then we have Drew Hancock, a lower overall, but still has that really high power moves, and I would hate to lose out on him. So if anything, we would eventually get rid of Carl Lawson from this group. At DT, you are going to notice that one guy is missing here, Luke Peak. He did suffer an injury and will miss some time at the beginning of the season. So for now, I feel like we do need to keep Dejuan Johnson, but he could eventually be cut. As for the outside linebackers, we do need to thin out this group because not all these guys are actual true linebackers. Now, Byron Young, he has performed pretty well for us at times, but he is 27 years old and he just got over that 70 power moves. Everything else is really low. He has some time to develop. So again, this is a spot where I would like to trade him to a team who has interest, and it looks like we're going to need to do a custom one again. And I would love to move him to a team where he's going to see some playing time, and that could be with the Cowboys. Now, if I remember correctly, he was a high draft pick, but he hasn't panned out for us. So again, I'm not going to ask for a lot here. And I feel like they do have 2 4s. So let's go with the lower of the 2 4s, and I feel like that should be a fairly realistic offer, and it gets the job done again. As for some of these other outside guys like Ochon Mathis and Daniel Hardy, both of them, they're just going to be straight up cut candidates for us because we don't need them. We have plenty of edge rushers and they're not true linebackers. So that thins out that group. We have the 3 here. Gibbons is a potential cut candidate. Leo Chanel, or Chenel? I really need to look up how that's pronounced, but we didn't take a look at him. His ratings are pretty solid in terms of being a run stopper. He's strictly a run stopper, does not provide much of any cover skills, but that's fine coming off the bench. He has plenty of speed, pretty solid tackling, hit power, acceleration, all really good as well. So that's a solid trade for us and fits a need that we had. At right outside linebacker, just one cut to make, and that's going to be Andrew Mintz here because he is an edge rusher. Now we have Jake Hummel. Honestly, probably not sure exactly how that one's pronounced either. Gibbons is a little bit of a higher overall there, so we could probably go ahead and cut Hummel and don't have to worry about mispronouncing his name. Now, corner was a group that was very good for us in this last off season because not only did we end up bringing in St. Just, we drafted Josh Conley, didn't expect him to be a starting caliber, and he very much is. And then Taron Johnson who I think I called Tyron Johnson several times last episode, my apologies, but he decided to come here over the Cowboys, which, great, thanks for coming, but also, due to the fact that we have all these other young guys, I kind of want to go with the younger guys. So, thanks for choosing us, but unfortunately, I think we do need to trade on Taron Johnson. So, he did get a good offer from the Cowboys. Are the Cowboys still interested in him? Obviously, we just made a trade with the Cowboys. Do they even need another corner? You could argue no. Now, I got to do my boys a solid here, as the Vikings do not have a great cornerback group. Andrew Booth and Mekhi Becton, the only ones above a 70 overall. They're doing my boy Caleb Evans dirty, but they could really use a number one corner. And I mean, Taron Johnson is pretty solid. But since we just drafted or just signed him, we're not going to ask for a whole lot here. Let's put in a current 3 and a future 6. A lot of trades in the NFL right now are not blockbuster outside of quarterback. So I feel like this is already a pretty big trade. So we'll put in that offer, and the Vikings take it. As for the rest of this group, the main 4, we're going to have Rice, Adebo, Conley, and St. Juste. I do like Kelvin Joseph. He's been really solid for us. Travius Hodges-Tomlinson really has never gotten going. And I feel like he does have the trade tag. If he does, we will trade him. Future star, I feel like that's pretty close. Let's see if anyone has any interest, and no. There are no trade packages for Hodges-Tomlinson, so that tells me that is a cut we need to make. Or even we could send him to the practice squad. Someone will still probably pick him up, but we could at least maintain rights for now. So instead, let's do that. We'll sign him to the practice squad, and then the rest of these guys are going to be cut. So Darion Kendrick, who was okay for us in a couple starting spots that he had, filling in for some injuries. We just have a lot better talent here, so he's going to have to get cut along as the other 2. Now at free safety, we brought in Ashton Davis. And Kobe Durant, I feel like, could be someone who would be potentially tradable, and he does have the trade target tag. So let's see if anyone's interested in trading for him. And that answer is no. No team's interested in Kobe Durant. Do we rock with 3 options here at safety and then move on from these guys down the list? For some reason, Rashad Torrance, at 23 years old, doesn't have any ability to go to the practice squad. Doesn't quite make sense, but we will make that cut. And because of that, I do like some of the ratings here from Jason Taylor. We'll send him to the practice squad if he gets picked up. That is fine. But that does get us down to the 53-man, and we could actually finally jump ahead for that 49ers game. And here's the final starting lineup moving into Season 3. As mentioned, we're rocking with Bo Harrell, but again, if he doesn't play well, Kirk Cousins is going out there. Akers will be our primary back, though we'll still see some of Gibson and Knight. Palmer is going to get the wide receiver 1 spot. The rookie in Jarrett will be wide receiver 2. The next guy off the bench will be Terrence Marshall behind my head. And then we have Corey Davis as that 4th guy. Again, he's mostly a mentor, essentially kind of like a coach, almost. Behind them, we have Ayers and Nakua. Nakua, though, will still be getting a whole lot of playtime, don't worry. Tommy Tremble starting at tight end with Parkinson behind him and Charles. If any of those tight ends aren't performing well, they can move up and down depending. Offensive line starts as follows: Smith, Avila, Andrews, McAllister, and Dickinson. We have the 2 young guys over on that left-hand side with 2 more young guys sitting right behind them. If either one of them are struggling, they are getting subbed out. Defensively, not going to be exactly as it's supposed to be due to some injury. Also, because I haven't switched the thing over to a 4-3. But the edge guys will be Bonito and Smith. In the middle will typically be Peak and Bell. Peak is obviously injured, will be back after a few weeks. So we're going to see a little bit of Kobe Turner. He hasn't gotten much of a chance, and if he doesn't do very well, we have some extra picks. Maybe we can make a trade for a DT for the future. As for the cornerbacks, we are sticking with Rice on the outside. Again, if he doesn't do well, we either could test out Conley on the outside, though he doesn't have great press, Or we also have St. Juice. So again, someone doesn't perform well, they're getting subbed out. Conley will be starting in the nickel. We'll talk about that. Kerr's still sticking that strong safety. The main linebacker is going to be Solomon, Murray, and Graham. Chenal, again, still assuming because I didn't look it up, is going to be the primary backup. At free safety, we're going to start with the rookie Swain. If he doesn't do very well, there is Ashton Davis as well as Kobe Durant. Though all of them are very close in overall, so again, going to be very strict. If you're not performing, you're getting subbed out. The specialist, as mentioned, Conley will be at slot. St. Just also can play there, and Joseph. The rush line is going to be Bonito at left. Nick Bell as well as Turner, again due to the injury, will be Luke Pequin back. And then Smith on the outside. The sub-backer primary is going to be Murray and Graham. Solomon next guy up. Slot receiver is going to be Nakua with Marshall next guy up. And Davis again sitting back at the bottom, just being that mentor, with the primary running back being Cam Akers. When it's a third down backup, it's going to be Gibson, as well as power back, though those two very close with Knight. So the backup running back is probably going to see a good bit of rotation. Specialist, Evans and Brown still kicking, and Williams, the rookie running back, will be our returner for Season 3. So now that we are all set, roster is finalized. How about we get into some actual action as we kick off Season 3 against the rival 49ers. And officially, Season 3 is underway. As it's a big boot, we'll start back with a touchback as Williams takes the knee. The make it or break it season for Bo Harold, coming off a really bad year. But he will have Monday night prime time behind a fairly rebuilt offensive line to prove himself, or to prove right by everyone else that he should not be starting, as play one doesn't go very far. Akers picks up one. The play style of this offense still going to stay about the same, though a really tall task for us in week one going up against this defense. As we try to get it out quickly, DeGuara gets the catch, but he actually loses the 1 yard we gained on first. So already faced with a tough task, we're going to have Smith facing Bosa here on this play. Should be a good matchup for us, and hopefully one that kind of works in our favor as we go to the rookie with a fantastic grab in tight coverage. Hufanga does not knock it away. Instead, 24 yards to the rook. We did not have guys last year who made those tough catches. We need that this year. That's why we went after a lot of receivers with that physical archetype. Though we do need to get the running game going. 2 carries, 2 yards. But we did see last year that we also need to get Akers involved in the passing game. So let's try to do that early on here, setting up a halfback screen. As we get it out, have a few blockers out in front, though McAllister does not get the block we need, but we still get the first. But with that first in plus territory, it's a heavy front for the Niners, but they do drop back in coverage. We get it out quickly, goes to Palmer, breaks 1 tackle, not going to get away from the second, but a gain of 7. Really going to try to vary up the looks this year, especially early on, find what works for this new squad. As we try to get a stretch to the outside, Akers does get the first, however, a flag is down. And it will back us up, holding on McAllister. Make it 2nd and 12. As we go with some play action, we have a guy, Palmer, towards the sideline. It's just a little bit too far out in front. We started this drive off well, and now a 3rd and long stands in our way. As we could go tremble, but a throw well off the mark and on top of it. Steve Avila shaken up, and they're saying this is punting range. So we'll see one of the rookies step in for Avila, going to be Williams on that right-hand side. But with 4th and 12, I mean, might as well go for it here. If it's too far for the field goal, feel like it's too close for the punt. Go in and overthrown off of Palmer's head. And it will end up in a turnover on downs. That throw a bit off. Bo Harold had some good ones in that first drive, but didn't finish cleanly. But now it's time to see how this new look defense stacks up against the team that we're chasing in this division, the 49ers. Obviously, they have a lot of really good guys, a lot of guys we'll need to try to get in front of, as we do not on that play. The drag route does find a gain of 6. And early indications from the locker room, Avila will not be returning. It was a pretty big shoulder injury. The extent of the injury we do not know, as they're close to the first down there but do not get it with Bushrod. So it will be a 3rd and 1, which they go to CMC with all the space down the middle. Breaks one tackle, picking up the first down to the 32. Mostly this defense working very similar to how it was last year, obviously playing in the nickel most of the time. Just kind of changing up exactly where some players line up. As they go downfield, it's a Debo who gets undercut, Bushrod, and into the end zone. Debo thought that was going to go a little bit deeper. The receiver makes the big play, and the 49ers grab the lead. But we have an opening here. The rookie Williams headed down the sideline. The Nor dives, misses, and returns for the touchdown. An instant leveling play here as the rookie running back Bryce Williams finds the gap, takes it to the house. It looked like he was about to get caught there at the end, was running out of stamina, but had enough to cross the plane. And with that, the 49ers head right back out on offense. Quick throw to the outside. They have Debo with a first down gain, and now Nick Bonito a little bit shaken up. Looks like maybe a shoulder injury. He'll head to the sideline, and it definitely looks like shoulder problems. I had to do that stretch myself a few times when I separated my shoulder playing, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. We will see a rotation at that backup edge spot then, as the rookie Stevenson out there. Good stop, first stop by Swain. And early indications are that it's questionable for the return by Bonito. It's not serious, but they're going to play it a little bit cautiously, as it's week 1 and beat once again by Bushrod, headed down the field, diving, coming up empty. A Debo, not a great start by our number 1 corner. Finally, with that superstar Dev, Bushrod scores twice on it. And after a good while, the offense will finally head back out, needing to answer the Bushrod second touchdown. As we start with a toss, no one blocks Bosa. Probably should get at least a hand on. But clearly, we don't there, and we'll be 2nd and 16 as we stick with that bunch look. Look for some crossing routes. We have over the top and well overthrown. Again, still not a good stop. Bo Harold, just 50% completion. Though you may be happy to know, we did hire some national scouts for the quarterback position. Again, we are not giving the job to him, but if he can prove it, he can keep it, and he does not here. He had open guys on the last 2 plays and missed them. 4th and 16 backed up, we punt. So as the Niners head out for their 3rd possession, they've already capped off 2 with Bushrod. He's not on the field here, so even if they score, it's at least not going to the same guy. As CMC, shaking off Curse, will pick up a few. Though he does head back out here on 2nd and 7. Going to be the 1 receiver to the right-hand side as Kittle joins him. 2 off to the left-hand side will be a pass by Purdy, who actually looks to scramble, stepping up and sliding down prior to the hit. Picks up a few, leaving 3rd and 3. I feel like that was a spot last year where we saw Luke Peak get most of his sacks. Having him not out there, we're feeling it. As they go CMC to the outside, it's a good stop as Curse comes down at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Good stop here to end the 1st quarter. So as the offense heads out to begin the 2nd, we're backed up at the 17. It's going to be a play action to kick us off with. We have Palmer with some space, but the ball a little bit underthrown, knocked away. Now obviously we've been passing the ball a lot. We've tried running the ball. It hasn't really gone very far. We'll try again here on 2nd. Akers down the middle, picking up 2. This is definitely a tough defense to start this season against, especially when you're trying to figure some things out. I would like Palmer to go on the slant here, so let's ensure he does. With a 3rd and 8, they cover it well and give up the blitz right down the middle. Actually, not even blitz, they only sent 4. It was just instant pressure from Hargrave. 4th and 12, and will have to be another punt. Now, the 49ers definitely winning the field position here as they start up close to the 45. as they will make a check from the line. Brock Purdy will set up a pass play, dumping it to the outside. Kittle with a gain of 5. Purdy is 100% on his throws. Meanwhile, our quarterback is around 40. So a large difference here as they go with a toss to the outside. CMC trying to get to the outside, but finds a cutback lane. Swain coming in, will secure the tackle, but down to the 34 goes Christian McCaffrey. It is a test this season for this young defensive line group, seeing if they can man it themselves or if we need to look for some help. As we go to the outside, Kittle breaks first contact and breaks kind of the second, but the group tackle gets the stop. We're just really hoping someone on this young group here is going to stake claim and become a superstar for this team towards the future. As we send the blitz, they have an open guy, Bushrod with the first. Really hard to get a blitz in here on Purdy. One, the offensive line blocking very well for him, but so quick to get the ball out as it's 1st and 10. They have a couple different options underneath. We get some pressure. He rolls out, throws it away. The first incompletion on the day is about halfway through the second quarter. And as they have a tight look here, potentially get a quick blitz around the edge. No, instead, wide open Ayuk down to the 4. Just having no fun here against this 49ers offense. So good. Can't blitz against them. Just have to hope you have perfect coverage. With a quick throw, they find their tight end fighting down to the 1. There was no quit in him there, but defense stood tall at the goal line. Need to see that again here on 2nd. As they go with a run down the middle, McCaffrey wrangled up at the 2. Both Johnny Smith and Graham there to help secure the stop and have 3rd and goal, which they will go with a run and beautifully blocked. McCaffrey had a wide open gap and can walk in, make it 21-7. Well, this offense has gone nowhere since that first drive. Need to see them bounce back here as we'll start with a halfback screen. No time to throw. They say it's a fumble and a scoop and score for Kyla Davis as they widen their lead. 3 scores. The arm was clearly going forward, but we don't hold any help from these refs. And if we want to see anything good here, you just got to complete the simple plays, and that's something Harold has struggled with as we have a false start on that right-hand side in Smith jumping off. We talked a lot about this team being extremely strict this year. Not performing well, you get benched, and right now there are some guys in line for that in this second half as Harold goes deep, finds Palmer somehow in double coverage. We get the play. Well, we'll get back to the line quickly. Looks like they might be sending a blitz who fung off that right-hand side. Harold making an adjustment at the line, though. They do not bring the blitz. We'll get the check down instead here. Tommy Tremble, pick up about gain of 9, landing out of bounds. We've seen Harold be streaky at times. Some really good play followed up by some bad. If we could squeeze in some good here as we go towards the sideline, finding Nakua his first grab of the season as we hit the 2-minute warning. Down to the 14. Look for the rookie to that back pylon, depending on what the outside corner does. They do drop back in coverage. Rolling out, we do have our tight end, but we decide to throw it out of bounds, apparently. As an NFL quarterback, can't really miss that throw, but Harold continues to do that. We'll go back to Akers here, looking for somewhere to go, gaining a few yards, make it 3rd and 7. And from there, we'll stick with the same look. Gonna swing out Akers. They cover it pretty well. We have the young receiver for about a split second, but no time there. We'll have to throw it away. 4th and 7. Do you take the field goal here and ensure points before half? I feel like that's probably the smarter move. So Brown heads out, trying to make this a 28-10 ball game, and that's exactly what we're going to get. So not what we were hoping for, but we're on the board at least. The offense moved a little bit there. And that does leave about a minute 20 seconds, minute 19 seconds, for the 49ers offense. As they will go right downfield. Adebo gets very lucky that that toe landed out of bounds. Though he might not actually be as lucky. A booth review's coming in. Either way, they blew the whistle, so can't be a touchdown, but could be a catch. As the ref's head popped up at the perfect time, couldn't quite tell there. That left foot is in, and that right from this angle looks in as well. We'll see what the ref says And it's a first down to about midfield. Adebo still lucky, but lucky a lot less, as that should have probably been a touchdown. As they set up the screen this time, we have our guy in Solomon. The rookie was there, but somehow Debo just gets the catch in front of him. So things definitely don't go our way often when facing this 49ers team, as they're going to make a check. We'll make a little audible ourselves, switching up the coverage. We got 2 to the left, 2 to the right, as CMC out on a route as well. They're having to scramble. Purdy to the outside, gets his legs chopped out, but holds on to it. Finally get our first hit in on the quarterback, but it's on a scramble gain of about 9.5. As it's 9, as it's second in inches. They needed about 9 millimeters there, but we do well against the screen and leaves it at third in inches with that bunch to the left-hand side, Bushrod to the right. They will pass. Purdy scrambling, Turner in pursuit, forces the throwaway. With 23 seconds, looks like it'll be a field goal attempt. And indeed, they trot out Mooney to essentially erase our field goal. With about 20 seconds left, will we have any luck to find some more points before half? And this is where we really need Bo Harold to come through. He has a much higher throw power than that of Kirk Cousins, our backup potential bridge quarterback, as we look for something, nothing throw out of a sack. With 16 seconds now, we still have all 3 timeouts. If we could find a couple chunk plays, we might have something, as Nakua cannot hold on to it. If anything, I think it was his own foot that potentially knocked the ball out. As we set up the halfback screen, time to throw. This time, though, we do not get the block, and they call a timeout with 5 seconds left. We'll punt, try to waste the time here, but definitely not a clean first half by any means, as we will be heading in down 21. It's 31 to 10. And we'll definitely see some rotation at some spots after half. See if we could spark some life, more specifically to this offense, as they've struggled to move the ball. 1 rushing yard, 101 passing. So 102 in total. Not what you want to have during prime time action. But as we get stuck back in, it will be defense up first as we boot this one away, needing to get a stop here. We're already down, like we just mentioned, 21 points. Don't want that to become 28. What we could very much use, though, is a turnover. That would be fantastic, as they start with a tight look. Fake it to CMC. They haven't gone his way much today. Just a dominating truck move there by Kittle, picking up 8, leaving 2nd and 2 as they spread out a little bit here. Now go down the middle. It's the new running back for McGee, springing for the first down to the 45. We're really not seeing much from this defensive line right now, so might need to make a couple changes there. We've made some on offense, as there's a big hit from Graham, giving the shoulder to McCaffrey, only picking up 3. They'll stick with a heavy look here. The fullback back in eye, as they find some space for McCaffrey, picking the right lane every time, with a first down into plus territory down at the 40. And they'll stick with the lighter formations here. Just 2 receivers. As the voice cracks, going to the outside. A good stop there from Murphy. As it's going to be a pass going downfield. Adebo finally makes his play with the pick at the 18. Talked about needing that turnover. Adebo delivers. And on top of that, as the offense heads out, Kirk Cousins leads them. With a 1st and 10, we start some play action. Swinging this one out, should have led the man. He didn't, gain him nothing. Now, I will say in training camp, there wasn't much to separate Cousins and Bo Harold. So we'll see if someone can start to do that here. We could do some blocking on the outside as a sack comes in from Bosa. 3rd and 19. So we'll come out spread. Got 3 to the right, 1 off to the left is Palmer. As he actually gets a good release, we have our tight end as well, and it's overthrown. Should have had a chance at the first down there, but passing in Madden sucks. So unfortunately for Adebo, made the big play, but it's CMC and the 49ers right back out, as they will stretch to the outside, have some guys in pursuit. Good stop there. Definitely Murray this time. They didn't run him a whole lot in that first half. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of it in the second. considering they still have that 21-point lead as they go back to him, trying to find some space, but not going to get by Kobe Turner. But on third down, can we get off the field? They need to get to just past the 50. Going to shake up the look here now with a bunch off to that right-hand side. Debo moves in to that left side. Have a couple underneath routes, setting up some space across the middle, though they do find Samuel. Not enough for the first down. The rookie gets the stop in Conley. Well, the offense will keep rocking with Cousins, at least for this drive. We'll see how it goes moving forward as we hand off Akers, finally gaining some yards. We've talked about it in the past. This offense moves as well as Akers moves, and he has not gotten going at all today. So if we could fix that, that'd be great. Dumping this one off for Palmer, but can't complete a 5-yard pass. Feel like we might need to do a little bit more slider adjustments here, because it's just broken as we have a 3rd and 4. Needing to pick up the first down, we missed the target again. I don't know. Madden's broken. So while we are struggling to complete a 5-yard pass, Brock Purdy, the guy who just completes all of them unless he decides to throw it away, stepping back out with his offense as they go back to CMC, trying to find space to the outside, dips under, but then takes the big hit from the rookie Solomon. Outside of a couple splash plays today, I feel like this defense actually has done really well. Unfortunately, the offense just hasn't shown up for him as there's a sack and a forced fumble. Nick Bell, though, they get on top of it. Will be a 3rd and 23. We need to see that rush show up a lot more often. Do need to shout out Bonito. He's back out there as they go with the draw. McCaffrey almost scrambles loose there, just picking up one. Defense gets another stop, forcing a punt. Now, if we can't end this drive starting in plus territory with a touchdown, we've got problems. As play 1 should have been a tackle for a loss. Akers does all he can to fight for and actually gains about half a yard. Obviously, this isn't the team exactly you'd want to start off with after making a lot of changes, but this is the team we're chasing and the team we need to do well against if we want to see anything happen, as we don't even have time to throw that ball out. Kirk is 1 of 5. And as we hit the 4th quarter, we have a total of 100 offensive yards. So clearly some changes that we made not really helping. As we go back to the halfback screen, picking up some blocks, Akers is close, 4th and 2. Try to get back to the line quickly here, as we just need a few yards for the first down. Let's have Nacua go on a short crossing route, does something across the middle here, pick up the first down for us, and he'll do just that and a little bit more. Definitely want to get him going a lot more this season. Not exactly the team that really will help us see that start quickly. 49ers really, really good. Though he's open here, lofted throw, overthrown. I mean, what more do you need to see just to realize that Madden does not want this team to be successful? As we go back to Akers, trying to find some space, and he picks up nothing. So 3rd and 10 it is as we stay spread. Nacua going towards the sideline, Palmer deep. If we even have time to throw any of these deep routes. Go to Nacua at the sideline, and some late hit there, or actually early hit, but no flag thrown. Though that's pretty synonymous with what the NFL's not calling nowadays. As it's 4th and 10. Have a couple options at the line to gain. Nacua going down the seam. Though that's covered pretty well, we go with the rookie, who has the catch, spinning to the outside, down to the 10. Let's keep this moving here with 6:30 and counting on the clock. Need as much time as we can get. Do we get a one-on-one to the outside here? No, they go to cover that. Let's step up Kirko, scrambling, fumbling, turning the ball over at the 2. Kirko'd, and we have another turnover. So the 49ers take over at the 2. Would love a safety here, as they do run it right down the middle, picking up 2. So after what we've seen today, feel like there's definitely some possible trades that we need to look into. As they go with the run, barely getting by Murray and somehow gaining more yards. I feel like we need to find ourselves a big DT for the middle. And on top of that, potential options at quarterback feel like they also might be needed. Though we also need to address the slider, I feel like. As there's a great stop. Graham with the tackle for loss. 4th and 6. Can we get a good rush here? Try to block the punt? That would be nice. Swaim over on that left-hand side. See if he could find a gap to get in there. Diving for it, and he hits the ankle of the punter. Hopefully that's not a free first down, but we'll see. And they do give him the unnecessary roughness. Free 15 yards on the first down. There was also an option for the 5, but they give him the big one, and they get the first down. Good stop there. We've done decently again on defense. We've held the 49ers to no points in this second half, knock on wood. But offense hasn't shown up once again. Quarterback still a major problem as Bonito too focused on playing with the hands of McCaffrey rather than getting the sack. They'll get a gain of 2. But it'll end up being another third down here for us. Another chance to get off the field as Purdy going to make a slight check here. Change it from under center to shotgun. Still the bunch to the right-hand side. Debo lone, rolling. Quick stop. We allow the catch, but hey, no first down and another punt forced. So with about 3 minutes left in this game, I just want a touchdown drive here. As we start just before the midfield marker, we have a rolling guy, but that ball's coming up well short and knocked away. I feel like there's just a problem here in Madden 24 where you have guys like that are open, but there's just no throw power to get these balls out there quickly. As we do find Tremble, we'll pick up 8. If the game ended right now, both our quarterbacks would be under 50% completion. As we're going to have to roll out here. Kirko, not close. 4th and 2. At the 48, we need the first down just past the midfield line. Couple of underneath routes as we throw a pick. Read very well there, Greenlaw, but what else are we going to do here? Offense, they cannot move. Doesn't matter what you do, offense is broken here in Madden 24. So it'll end up being another loss to the division rival 49ers, and another time where the offense can't move at all. Doesn't matter what you do, new players brought in, scheme changes, trying to do passing, trying to do running, down the field, middle field, or short, just doesn't work. And if you want to compare the quarterback stats for this game, first off, Kirk Cousins had a 14.6 quarterback rating. But moving past that, off of 18 attempts compared to 14, Bo Harold completed 8 for 105 yards. Kirk only completed 5 for 39. Completion percentage was technically better with Bo Harold, and he didn't have a turnover like Kirk, who also had a fumble. So all in all, not good. So from there, we're going to start some testing, because clearly the passing game here is broken. I'm using Mat 10 sliders. Normally they work really well. I feel like it might just be either this saved game, perhaps, because if you watch any of the States Only Challenge, we don't have this kind of problem with the quarterbacks. So we're going to do some testing, and we're going to start off potentially on the higher end. We're going to move the quarterback accuracy all the way up to 55. Because right now we can't complete a 5-yard pass. Like, that is how bad it is. A 5-yard open receiver, we can't hit. It's off. So we're going to start with 55. Now, I do not want this to become anything where it seems cheaty, right? So we're trying to find that nice middle ground where we're completing the pass that we should be completing. We're still getting some inaccuracies, but they're not well off of their wide open targets. In tight coverage, might not have the best throw. I still want interceptions. I still want some bad throws, but it needs to work. And right now it's not working. We've also seen some bad pass blocking, though. I want to see that for a little bit more since we have some better offensive linemen this year. I want to see if that continues to be a problem or if that's just the lower overall guys and the higher overalls are still doing well. So we're going to wait a little bit there. Potentially even wide receiver catching might need to be something that we tweak, because we've had some throws where it comes right at the guy, maybe not right at, but like just off to the side, and they don't even attempt to catch it. So we might need to try to balance those, but I feel like we definitely have to start working with some sliders to get the game to work properly, because no one wants to just see offenses like that every single play for however long this series goes. If it continues to still be a problem, it might be the save game as we started early on in Madden pre some patches. So if that messes with things, do definitely let me know. But that is the tweak we're making for now, and we'll test it next time against the Seahawks. One last thing I did want to take a look at. So in the offseason, the Texans signed Tua Don't know why. They have CJ Stroud on a rookie contract. It's still an expensive rookie contract, but they signed Tua, who's just 5 overall higher, leaving CJ Stroud as a backup. He is a star dev, and what I've seen a lot in Maddens is if your quarterback is not at least a star, superstar, and X Factor, they don't function properly. Like, they're just shouldn't even be a quarterback in the NFL. So Stroud could potentially fix that. He has some really good accuracies, has the throw power, has the agility. I am curious to see what it would require from the Texans if we wanted to make a trade. And they would honestly just take a straight up Kenneth Murray, which we're not going to do. We could give them a future, not this season, but next season, 2nd round pick, a 4th and a 5th, or even further down the line, 2nd and 3rd, and then this year's 7th. So trading for CJ Stroud actually isn't unreasonable at all. Like I thought it might have been for him even to be a backup. If we're curious about his stats, what he's done in his time in this league, he hasn't played cleanly, which might be why the Texans did make that move and brought in Tua. His rookie year, he went 24 touchdowns compared to 18 interceptions. Not very good. Last season, slightly better-ish, had a few less touchdowns and slightly fewer interceptions, but still nothing fantastic. Though his completion percentage was above 50. I want to say last year, Bo Harold was like 44 or 46, so really bad. We could make a move for CJ Stroud. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. We also have some scouts happening for the next upcoming draft. They're not looking for a 1st round pick. We have multiple, so who knows what all could happen. And even if we do make the trade and Stroud continues to struggle, we could also still draft another quarterback. So a lot is possible. Let me know your thoughts on one, changing the sliders, testing those out as we go, possibly making a trade, moving on from Harold. Kirk also didn't play very good. So let me know what all you think. And definitely hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down, hit the subscription button, and tick that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday with the state-only challenge, currently the Central Plains, as we start the playoffs tomorrow. Do not miss out there. 50 like goal and win, and we continue throughout the week as long as we keep winning in the playoffs until hopefully a Super Bowl win and a completion of a challenge. So do not miss out there. Until next time, where we play another division rival in the Seahawks. Maybe it'll be a slightly easier test for this offense and for the sliders. Hopefully that one goes well. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye.